pellets landing.
In August and September 2015, Auckland Council airily spread 1080 poison across 21,000 hectares of the Hunua Forest Park. Enough poison was dropped across the Hunua ranges to kill over 380,000 people.
Well, prior to the drop taking place, were you informed about taking water or not taking water, or whether to disconnect your water supplies?
I was told that the drop wouldn't be anywhere near our waterways, rivers, streams and water coming into the property or anything. So I was told that they would drop well clear of the waterways.
The operational toxin flight chart obtained under the Official Information Act shows that 1080 poison was dropped directly into all streams flowing into the dams and into streams flowing out of the operational area. Small buffers were in place around the dams themselves. The poison is dropped to kill rats, possums, pigs and deer. The poisoned pigs, deer and possums that die in and near streams can cause delayed contamination and increased levels of E. coli as they decompose. Regional councils issue the resource consents that permit the discharge of poison bait directly into waterways. Waikato Regional Council is currently in the process of issuing a consent to DOC, TB Free and Waikato Regional Council that will allow them to continue to airily spread 1080 poison across forests and streams for another 35 years. The users of 1080 poison often claim that after testing, their water samples come back clear most of the time. However, in most cases, the testing process isn't following Landcare Research's best practice guidelines, which state, samples taken within 8 hours of bait application are expected to provide the greatest likelihood of detecting any residual 1080. Most samples taken for testing by agencies are collected 24 hours or more after the aerial drop, and after the poison has already been uptaken by aquatic life and plants, or passed through the water column and diluted into larger water bodies like the Hunua dams. The flight charts of recent drops on the Coromandel Peninsula, Mount Pirongia near Hamilton, and around the Tauranga, Taupo and Waimarino rivers near Taupo all show the poison was dropped directly into waterways within the drop boundaries at the same rate as the land areas around them. In most cases, people living near the drop boundaries are not informed that the water they are drawing from the operational area has had 1080 poison dropped directly into it, or that they are entitled to mitigation. Negative water sample results don't prove the absence of 1080. They demonstrate poor testing protocols, methodology and processes, and/or inadequate testing equipment. Pesticide water testing in the United Kingdom is undertaken in parts per trillion. That is the way it should be in New Zealand, especially when there has been so little research into the low-dose effects of 1080 on humans.
Tell us, where are we?
So we're at the Wairoa Dam, which is 5 minutes up the road from my place, and this feeds into 60% of the Auckland city's drinking water. I'm a nurse, my husband's an anaesthetist. We are concerned about the possible effects from 1080 in our drinking water. We're aware that it can be an endocrine disruptor at parts per trillion, and the water care tested at parts per billion. So, and where's the research to say that it doesn't affect us, it doesn't hurt us, it doesn't have any impact on our health? I'd like to know where that research is. We're worried.
Around 2 million kilograms of 1080 poison bait is spread by helicopters across New Zealand's forests and waterways every year. Enough poison to kill over 60 million people every year. The factory that imports 1080 poison and manufactures the baits is a state-owned enterprise. The two acting shareholders are the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Primary Industries. Its warning label states that a lethal dose of bait for an adult human could be as little as 30 grams. That's equivalent to just 2.5 of these 12-gram baits. Animals like deer and pigs can consume many more baits than is required to kill them, making their dead bodies massive toxic baits for any bird, animal or person that eats them. The latency period, which is how long it takes the victim to feel the effects of the poison, can be as long as 29 hours. meaning a live animal could be harvested for food while containing a fatal dose of poison. The symptoms of 1080 poisoning include vomiting, stomach pains, muscular twitching, blurred vision, mental confusion, followed by coma and convulsions. 1080 poison bait is aerially spread across large areas of New Zealand's forests and waterways to kill possums and rats. However, the toxic baits also kill thousands of pigs and deer annually, and poisoned animals can suffer for many hours before they die. Many species of native birds, bats and insects also consume the poisonous food. The poisoned insects and animals can then become toxic meals for unsuspecting native wildlife, and official information shows that kiwi and kea are dying in high numbers in poisoned forests. 1080 poison baits are dropped directly into all waterways at the same rate as the land areas around them in most aerial operations. Aquatic life, such as freshwater crayfish, quickly consume the bait and pass the deadly toxin onto other unsuspecting birds, animals and fish that eat them. The manufacturer's warning label states, "Take measures to minimise the chance of baits accidentally entering any body of water and harmful to aquatic organisms." However, no attempt is made to avoid waterways. The official toxin distribution charts show that almost all of the forest streams are poisoned at the same rate as the land areas around them. Research presented at the Environmental Risk Management Authority review of 1080 poison use, undertaken in 2007, stated that it identified three main scenarios that may give rise to meat containing 1080 residues. Farm animals may accidentally get access to 1080. Feral animals taken by hunters may have been poisoned or sublethally poisoned. In other research, it is stated that numerous cases of suspect accidental poisoning of livestock with 1080 occur in New Zealand every year. Extensive independent information about 1080 poison use in New Zealand can be found on the 1080science.co.nz website, and an extensive presentation of film footage of aerial poison operations and documentation can be found on tv-wild.com.